Shalom people! Today we are talking about the Mercedes C Class from the generation W204. We will take a closer look at the common problems of this car, so you can decide which problems you can avoid before buying this model. This way you can make sure you can show off in front of old people's home, because everyone has to know you are driving now a Merc. The Mercedes C Class W204 was built between 2007 and 2014 as a 4-door saloon and estate version. The coupe version was even built until 2015. There was a CLC as well, but this genetic defect doesn't count due to its similarities with the BMW E46 Compact and Quasimodo, but mostly due to the fact that the owners of this car are no real people. The build quality in the C Class is solid, especially in comparison to the predecessor model. It has improved a lot. For today's standards, the interior still looks good if the previous owner has no toxic sweat coming from his hands. But still, the interior has as much plastic to offer like a standard chick on Instagram. Even though the car is 15 years old, it still makes sense to buy one. Most of the cars don't suffer from a lot of wear and tear. Only the center console and the door handles can look like second-hand condoms. The standard seat can be a little bit uncomfortable for people who buy an entry-level Mercedes and wonder why it is cheaply made. But those kind of people weep themselves to sleep. In the end, you do not look like somebody who is stuck in 2007 that likes jokes about sausages. Unlike the predecessor C Class W203, the body does not tend to rust. Only very few people had some cases of rust at the fender or in the boot area. This was usually fixed by Mercedes under warranty, when they decided to cry about it at the dealership. Common problems of the W204 are the electrical adjustable side mirrors, electrical adjustable seats, the handbrake, the keyless go system, water can leak into the headlights and taillights. The lines of the power steering can leak as well, which will make the car lose fluid. Then the operator button for the command system can fail. The brake lines can get porous and the electrical tailgate can fail at the estate version. Most of the common issues were fixed after the facelift. The facelift was available by March 2011. This is visible by the new headlights, which have a C inside the headlight, which stands for cornelingus and operates as daytime running light. The interior was the same as the one from the Mercedes E-Class W212. But let's talk about the engines, the most important topic. Cars with 4-cylinder engines which have over 90,000 miles are critical to watch, because they have a thin simplex timing chain and they are most used for short distances. Those type of timing chains last about 60 to 90,000 miles, and in this combination they are worn prematurely. Since Mercedes is German as my accent, they like to make everything complicated. Hence they used a lot of different engine variations. 4-cylinder petrol engines had the M271 engine, which occurred in the C180 and C200 with the supercharger, and in the C200 and C250 turbocharged version. The most common issue was a stretch timing chain, which happened even before 60,000 miles. In this case, it would be smart to check the camshafts. If you want to check it, just listen if the engine rattles for 2 to 3 seconds when you cold start it. If the engine is warmed up already by the seller, you can accuse him as a cheater, wish him AIDS, pee on his feet and hope he does not like it. Coked up valves are a common problem as well at the engines with direct injection. The other 4-cylinder engine is the M274 and only occurred in the 180, which was used in the successor C Class W205. In the beginning, the engines had issues with the camshaft adjusters. Since it has a thin timing chain and direct injection, the issues remained the same. If you change the oil more frequently, keep the injectors clean and don't drive only short distances, you do not have to worry about this that much. There are people with their first timing chain, even after 120 to 180,000 miles. The 6-cylinder engines had the M272 engine, which occurred in the 230, 280, 300, 350 and 350 CGI. The 350 CGI is the only M272 engine who has direct injection, unlike the others with a less problematic inlet manifold. The first M272 engines had some low quality chain sprockets at the balance shaft. Due to this issue, these engines face timing chain issues before 60,000 miles. Engines which are built from 2007 should not have this issue any longer. Besides that, this engine is very reliable, since it has a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine. Only the camshaft adjusters tend to get worn. Oil leaks occur with higher mileage cars, which is also normal if the car is a little bit older. The M276 6-cylinder engine in the 350 was used from the facelift on, and developed some issues over the time like coked up injectors, high pressure fuel pump and NOx sensors. The C63 AMG version has the naturally aspirated 6.2 liter 8-cylinder engine, named M156. This engine occurs in the Edition 507 and Black Series models. Until the facelift, the engine had problems with the bad cylinder head bolts. The camshafts, camshaft adjusters and hydraulic lifter are known to fail after a while. The engine is very solid, but after some time it is a little bit expensive to maintain. But if you keep looking at it, you will be fine. Sometimes it likes to suck, like my ex-girlfriend, but in this case it's oil and not semen. The 4-cylinder work of the Devil diesel engines have the OM646, but only until 2009, where only the 200 and 220 CDI were available. From there on, the OM651 was available for disposal in the 180, 200, 220 and 250 CDI. Common issues of the OM646 are turbochargers, throttle valve, injectors, high pressure fuel pump and thermostat. On the long-term run there were issues with the timing chain as well, because a thin simplex chain was used again. So if the vehicle was not used for long distances, the chance is high that it needs to be replaced after 60 to 90,000 miles. The common issues of the OM651 are again the timing chain, tensioner, water pump, injectors, fuel leak, vacuum pump, EGR valve and an oil leak at the timing chain tensioner. In the worst case, the car can set on fire and F up your hairstyle. And probably your day as well. The 300, 320 and 350 CDI engines have 6 cylinders and have the OM642 inside. Probably one of the best Mercedes diesel engines. Usually they are very solid, but as with every engine some issues like to occur. Crankcase ventilation, actuator at the inlet manifold, injectors, crankshaft bearing, high pressure fuel pump, EGR valve, crankshaft oil seal and oil cooler. These are the common problems of this engine. So everything beneath 6 cylinders has thin simplex timing chain, and the limitless lifetime of them are as credible as bald heads who buy hair growth products or a fat personal trainer. In terms of suspension you have as much choice as usual Karens have brain cells. From the factory the standard suspension has a selective damping system. This is called the agility control suspension. Then you can have the sport suspension, which is included with the AMG package. This is basically the same suspension, just a little bit lower and harder. In terms of transmission you can choose between 3 variants. There's the usual 6-gear manual gearbox, which is reliable. Then there is the old 5G Tronic automatic transmission. This was only common in the 4-cylinder engines until the facelift in 2011. Apart from that, the 7G Tronic automatic transmission was used. Usually the automatic transmissions are reliable, but in some cases the 7G Tronic can have issues with the ECU and has to be changed. This is not as expensive as it sounds, but it's like the child of your new bay. It's annoying. The equipment is very decent, like the leather seats, Parktronic, rear view camera, ambient light, Harman Kardon sound system, keyless entry and AMG package. If you like crafting or Minecraft, you can convert the car to the facelift version with new aftermarket LED headlights, which look like the original ones. If you have a stunted genital, you can even fit an 63 AMG body kit in order to compensate for some things. It is even possible to take a complete exhaust system from the C63 AMG version and use it on your car, which will sound like this if you have a 6-cylinder engine. The only thing you should not do, even though you are drunk AF or on crystal, is to build in the Pan American grille from the current AMG generation. This is no matter of taste, it is simply cringe, and people who do that should get kicked out of their home. You can get first models for around 3000 euro in Germany. Since Germans like to think it is the center of the earth, this is the benchmark. It would not be that smart to buy a high mileage cheap 4-cylinder engine because a change of the timing chain is very expensive. You should only buy it or consider a 4-cylinder engine when the timing chain is new. It is very important that the engine does not make any noise at the cold start. Hence you should look out for a model with a 6-cylinder engine. Models with 6-cylinder engines cost about 7,000 in Europe. It would be better to spend up to 10k in order to get a better model with full service and maintenance history, where you don't have to invest thousands of dollars into repair or a shrink. Friends, if you were able to forget about your misery, which is called your life, I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe to this channel in order to get more videos like this. Please consider doing what I would do in your position.